vegetables next to a slice of raw meat. Smaller signs in the windows advertised Coca-Cola and Cracker Jack, then homemade notices for septic repair, a lost dog, canoe rentals, a carpet service called Dirt Doctors, and an announcement that local squash was now in stock. "You need food?" asked Coleman.
"No, a job."
Serge hopped out.
"Our Route 66 pilgrimage requires that we secure new employment each week in a different town. That's why I picked Sop Choppy for episode 1. We can't miss."
"But how can you be so sure the grocery store will hire us?"
"They won't,"
said Serge.
"We're starting our own business."
"What kind of business?" Serge pointed at another sign in the window that said $2.50 a cup next to a crayon drawing of a smiling earthworm.
"Each year, people from all over descend on the tiny hamlet for the annual worm grunting festival."
"Grunting?"
"It's what they call their patented technique for harvesting worms."
Serge entered the store and walked past a produce case with an eclectic decorative display on top of antique cash registers, lanterns, and tennis rackets.
"It seems hard to believe now, but back in the day this was a gold rush town of pioneers supplying the region with earthworms and making fortunes, until people started calculating fortunes differently."
"Far out." At the other end of the vegetable case was a dignified woman in a straw hat trying to reach a zucchini decision.
"Excuse me," said Serge. "I know this place has seen better times, but thankfully all hardship is in the rearview mirror now that we've arrived. The new Route 66, Episode 1.
"Do I know you?"
"Not yet, but soon everyone in town will. Extreme worm grunting."
"Oh, the Worm Festival," she said with a laugh. "You just missed the last one by a week. The kids loved it."
"I'm sure the little tykes were joyfully spitting up ice cream and cotton candy all the way home,"
said Serge.
"But we're deadly serious. I believe I can trust you. There could soon be an employment boom around here, except we only have a week. Shooting schedule for the next episode. Sorry, but the suits make the rules."
"What are you talking about?" The female customer was possibly late 30s, appeared slightly older from the light sun wrinkles of an outdoor life, and acted younger because of the experience. Serge glanced around for eavesdroppers, then leaned closer.
"I can get you in on the ground floor. Just point us toward the worm fields, and the highway will soon be so full of semi-trucks that they'll have to reinforce the bridges."
"Do you actually know anything about worm grunting?"
"Everything,"
said Serge.
"Do I look like some kind of amateur? You fashion a 1.5-foot wooden stake made of persimmon or oak that's called a stob and pound it into nutrient-rich soil. Next, you take an equal length of metal known as a rooping iron that's often a leaf spring salvaged from the suspension of an abandoned truck. Then you rub the iron over the top of the stob to mimic the frequency of the earthworm's mortal nemesis, digging moles. Consequently, your quarry flees to the surface, and before you know it," he snapped his fingers, "you're tits high in earthworms. Lower property taxes for everyone."
The woman stared a moment. "Where'd you learn all that?"
"Books, internet."
"But have you actually done it?"
"Knowledge trumps experience," said Serge. "Einstein never built an A-bomb, but ask a certain country how that turned out."
"No, I mean, it's a dead art," said the woman. "Only a few old-timers out in the forest still practice it. Really hard work for horrible pay. Maybe $20 a pail if you're lucky. And I mean big pails."
"Never thought of pails," said Serge. "See, I knew you'd be helpful. Coleman, make a note. Pails, 10. Make it an even dozen."
He turned back to the woman.
"Any other wisdom you can impart? You mentioned a forest?"
"The Apalachicola, but don't take this wrong." She eyed Serge up and down. "You look a bit too city for this line of work. I'm not joking about how hard it is." Serge gleamed a brilliant smile.
"My fingernails may look spotless, but don't underestimate my laser focus and impish tenacity. Coleman, to the Apalachicola."
The woman selected a vegetable. Coleman was already in the passenger seat, chugging a fresh quart. Serge stood outside the driver's door with an ancient Gulf oil road map.
"This place called Tate's Hell looks inviting."
The door of the grocery store opened. "Let me give you some directions. It's easy to get lost out there in the woods if you're not from these parts." Serge turned and recalibrated his initial impression. The woman's subdued beauty was more apparent in natural light. High cheekbones, the hair a bit wild and more strawberry, almost no makeup. And he hadn't noticed the hiking boots before. Definitely a nature mama, but the main thing, green eyes, pure jade. She walked around the car and grabbed the edge of his map. The problem